Title: The Silence of Amina. Amina had always been the quiet one in the village. Her smile, though rare, was soft, like the early morning sun peeking through the clouds. Everyone admired her for her calmness and respect, but no one knew the storm she was hiding. From the outside, her marriage to Musa seemed perfect. Musa was tall, with broad shoulders, and his laugh could shake the walls. People said he was a man to be feared and respected, but they didn't know what happened behind closed doors. It all started small. At first, it was the sharp words that cut deeper than knives. "You are useless, Amina," Musa would shout. He would shove her out of his way if she was too slow to cook or clean. The villagers would sometimes hear raised voices, but they thought it was normal. After all, men and women argued everywhere. But Musa's anger was like fire, growing wilder each day. One evening, as the moon hid behind thick clouds, Musa returned home drunk, his eyes bloodshot, his fist clenched. Amina knew it was going to be a bad night. She trembled, her hands shaking as she stirred the soup, hoping to avoid his wrath. But Musa was not in the mood to be pleased. "Is this what you call food?" he spat, throwing the bowl across the room. The hot soup splashed against the wall, leaving a mark like the scars he left on her body. Amina backed away, but it was too late. He grabbed her by the arm, dragging her like a rag doll. "You think you can disrespect me in my own house?" The blows came hard and fast. First her face, then her ribs. She screamed, but no one heard. Or maybe they did, but fear kept their doors locked. Amina's body grew weak over time, but she endured. Every day she prayed, hoping the beatings would stop, that Musa would change. But he didn't. The bruises multiplied, each one telling a story of pain and silence. One night, when the rain poured heavily, covering the sound of her cries, Musa's rage went too far. He hit her with such force that she collapsed, blood trickling from her nose. Amina didn't move. She couldn't. Musa stood there, panting, his chest rising and falling, staring at her limp body. It was only after a few moments that he realized something was wrong. He knelt beside her, shaking her gently at first. "Amina! Amina, get up!" His voice cracked. But she didn't respond. Panic washed over him. He shook her harder, calling her name, but Amina remained still, too still. He felt for her pulse, his hands trembling, but there was nothing. Silence. Cold silence. In that moment, Musa knew he had killed her. The news spread quickly in the village. Amina was dead. Some whispered that she had been sick for a long time. But others knew the truth they had seen in her bruised arms, her swollen eyes. The police came and arrested Musa the next day. He tried to argue, to say it was an accident, but no one believed him. The villagers who had once feared him now cursed him as they watched him being led away in handcuffs. In court, Musa was sentenced to life in prison. He sat in his cell, haunted by the memory of Amina's lifeless body, the sound of her voice forever silenced. But in the village, people began to speak up. The silence that had once protected Musa was gone, replaced by whispers of truth. The women of the village, inspired by Amina's story, began to tell their own tales of abuse, determined to never let another woman suffer in silence again. And though Amina was gone, her story lived on, a reminder that silence can be deadly, but courage can break even the darkest chains.